Hi, it's Tiffany Lorraine, the Resilient Mother, with another episode of the Resilient Mother podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about being a resilient overcomer. And I have a guest who's a great example of that. I have Tenya, who's an anxiety release coach, and she has a powerful story about the things that she has overcome. And here she is to tell you more about it. Please tell us more about Tenya and what you do.
Thank you so much. So I'm an anxiety release coach, and I've been helping women to heal naturally from anxiety for about 2 years now. But it all started with my own healing journey, with my own anxiety and depression. 2018, my twins were graduating high school. My oldest had already graduated. She was graduating from college, I think that year or the year after. My husband was graduating college in 2018. We bought our forever home off of the water, and everything on the outside was perfect. It was absolutely wonderful. I loved my job. My marriage is wonderful. But on the inside, something just wasn't right. And I'm not sure if it was because that mother role that I'd had for so long was kind of starting to be realized, that it was dissipating just a little bit because all of my kids were adults. When we moved into our home, we moved in without any kids. So it was the first time in our marriage that we did not have any kids at the house, because we got married after our first one was born. So we'd always had kids in the house. And so this was the first time that we didn't have any. And I tell you what, that was amazing. Just to have 2 weeks of alone time with your husband that you haven't had alone time with that long was just great, because it gave us a chance to really get to know each other again. Then this kid started moving back in, which was fine. But I think that, again, it just kind of like, okay, so now I have to shift how I thought my life was going to be going again. And I don't think I was ready for such quick shifts for, let's go buy a house. We find the house, we buy the house, kids move out, kids move back in. And then I have a fight with my mom. And by February, March of 2019 was the height of my anxiety and depression really hitting me. I went the traditional routes to begin with, because that's all I knew. So because this was the beginning of COVID, everything was online. So I met with a doctor that I didn't know, because my family doctor didn't do televisits yet. And so I had a 15-minute conversation with this doctor that I didn't know. And he asked me what medications I'd been on before, because I had gone through this roller coaster of emotions before. And he said, okay, well, we'll try you on that one again. I'll see you in 6 to 8 weeks, and we'll adjust if we need to. Okay. I then found a talk therapist. Again, trying to find a talk therapist that you resonate with takes 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Because you're only meeting with them for a half hour, 45 minutes a week. And the first month is usually like background information that they're gathering from you. It's not even hitting on what the possible problem may be. And because I'd been down this road before, after that 6 to 8 weeks, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't survive this way anymore. And so I was sitting at my desk and I was crying, and I was like, just give me something that's going to get rid of this, that's going to heal it 100%. I don't care how hard it is. I just want it gone.
Right.
So I went into Google and I Googled emotional holistic healing, and this modality called the emotion code popped up. And I was a little skeptical, but I had started to get more into natural healing because of my autoimmune disease and all this other stuff going on. So I was like, you know what? I asked for something. This is what was put in front of me. Let me at least research it and see what it's all about. So I started YouTubing and got the book and made appointments with a couple different practitioners just to try it out. And I was amazed at how much better I felt after each session. I was like, how is this even possible? And, when they explained to me, like, well, when you learn in biology class that everything is energy. Everything has life. Trees have life, plants have life. It's just everything is energy, because everything is energy. We're all connected on an energetic level.
Right.
And so if we allow ourselves to connect with somebody else, they can help us to find what the root cause is of something.
Mm.
And so after those couple
A
of
different
sessions,
approach than just like,
yeah,
I'm just going to talk to you for 15 minutes. I'm going to check some boxes and I'm going to give you
right,
this. Then it might have some side effects. And then, well, if you do, then we're going to give you this. And like nothing gets medical. Sometimes we need it, but there's a lot more to the energy that you're talking about. There's a lot more options. And it's sad when
absolutely,
someone has to get to that point of like, I got to do something different. Like they don't know that that's an option in the first place, because that's our American culture. That is not the culture in other countries.
right.
It's more open. We're the more Eastern medicine, more natural, but we're moving and we're shifting that way. So I'm sure there's someone listening here who's faced what you have faced, and your story is going to help them realize there's more options faster. So thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. Yeah, I had hoped, I wish that there had been more option when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
Um, instead of just, excuse me, instead of just, you need to call and make an appointment with the doctor and get on medication, because that was always the end all be all. So, but I'm also the type of person that if I want to know how to do something, I'm just going to learn how to do it, instead of having somebody else do it for me. So I went ahead and decided to get the certification for the emotion code and the body code, because I just wanted to learn to heal myself,
Mm-hmm.
because I knew I could heal myself. I just didn't have the tools at the time, and these were the tools that were given to me. And so I could also, heal my family if they needed it. And it took me about 4 months with learning this modality to put my anxiety and depression, to heal it about 80%. And that was doing nothing but energy healing every day, because I was
Wow.
practicing with my muscle testing and
None
practicing
of the
on
other
other
stuff
people.
before gave you that percentage of a result, right?
Nothing.
Not 20%, not 10%. Like you're talking 80% change there. That's
80% change.
huge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was happy most of the time. And I was like, there's still something that's missing. Like, what else is there? Like I tested, I had other practitioners test to see what else was there that I needed to be 100% healed. I mean, and it's not like I don't have sadness or anxiousness still come in, but I'm now at a point where I can respond to those feelings
Mm.
instead of reacting to them.
Yes. Awareness.
Um, but it was when I started implementing self-care techniques into my practice with the energy healing. I started meditating, I started journaling, I started learning how to set boundaries and actually setting them and learning to keep them. That was, I think, the hardest part was being able to say no, that's not appropriate for me, or no, I can't do that. And really allowing my emotions to come in no matter what they were, knowing that they weren't going to kill me when they came in, knowing that they were going to pass, and that I didn't have to stifle them.
Separating yourself from them. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's part of my own journey. Is I took a self-compassion class during COVID, thank goodness. And that was something that was this aha moment. Two of them were, I have the power within myself. Like it was here the whole time.
yep,
And you as an overcomer already recognize that. You're like, I'm going to take the reins on this and I'm going to figure this out and I can do this. That's a sign of an overcomer. The other was, I am not my emotions.
mm-hmm.
I'm a human being that is experiencing emotions.
Yep,
What am I going to do about it is the question. And that,
right,
so it's this, instead of this, oh, you have a problem, let's put a Band-Aid on it. It is more of proactive. What tools, like you said, you went and found tools, you went and sought answers, you went and researched more options, more possibilities, being open to there has to be a solution to this problem, and going out and taking it by the reins and finding it. And that's exactly what you did. And so talk about like, what was the result after that? How was life different once you were able to empower yourself to that level?
Gosh, the fact that I could sit in my living room, excuse me, the fact that I could sit in my living room and watch TV with my husband and just be there.
Be
Like
present.
my mind wasn't going off to, okay, so I need to make sure that I boil eggs for tomorrow. I pack his, make sure I get his lunches ready. And do I need to switch laundry? Did I switch laundry? Has it been an hour since I switched laundry? All those thoughts were not running through my head anymore. And my husband would sometimes look at me, he goes, "What are you smiling about?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "You're smiling. What's so funny? Or what are you smiling about?" I'm like, "I'm just happy." Like I didn't even realize that I was having these, because the smiles became more
Natural.
comfortable
Yeah.
than, yeah, they became more natural. So I didn't even really realize that I was smiling,
And
which
that
was
just
funny.
shows the power of thoughts. Like
Yeah.
really what it came down to was your thoughts, right?
Yep.
And what
Yeah.
power you gave to them. And you sorted out which ones deserve to have attention and which ones do not, which ones were authentically you and which ones were not.
Hmm.
And then you're able to be present. This whole like thing of being grounded and centered and aligned. Some people are like, what the heck is that? Well, in our go, 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 go culture that we're stepping away from, we're starting to realize that you need to slow down,
Yeah.
to be in tune with yourself, and that actually being present is extremely rewarding because the only thing you have control of is yourself
Yep.
and this moment. And if you're living in the past or you're living in the future, you're missing this
And
moment
now. Yep.
and the power that you have right. And
Yeah.
that is what an overcomer needs to know is like, okay, what is the next right move right now for me?
Right.
And if you can see that and those options, and not only that, you went and sought help. You decided to get certified. You looked at all the options. I think any journey you don't do completely by yourself. And
Yeah.
recognizing that, okay, what support do I need in place? What resources do I need in place to set me up to succeed is also smart because then you're putting a plan in place that will let you be successful at what you're pursuing.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I encourage everybody, if you don't find something that works for you, keep looking.
Mhm.
Don't just think that there's nothing out there that's going to work. I hear all the time, meditation doesn't work for me. Well,
Right.
I think meditation works for everybody. It's just sometimes it's going to take one person longer to get the benefits from it as it's going to take somebody else. It's like brushing your teeth. You have to do it every single day in
Mhm.
order for it to make an impact.
Yes.
And even when you miss one day, it lengthens that impact of when you're going to start feeling it. But don't start out 20 minutes a day as soon as you start learning how to meditate, because then you're going to get discouraged, because I had a hard time sitting there for, even sometimes today I have a hard time sitting for 20 minutes. And
Yeah.
I've been meditating for 2 years. But
And I think it
it takes
goes to
time.
what you talked about earlier about saying no as a people pleaser and as a perfectionist, recovering from both here. Um, saying no is really hard, but
It
that's
is.
that step of once you, if you're going to go, we think larger, bigger, all the way. Like we think that. Like
Right.
I think some people even think resilience is pushing through, push through. That's not my
No.
version of resilience. No, no. Resilience
No.
is setting yourself up to succeed and to be centered and be
Exactly.
with yourself no matter what. But you sometimes have to, I lost my train of thought. This never
We're
happens.
talking about meditation.
Yes, meditation. Okay, I'm definitely gonna have to cut some of that. That's okay. A little more work for me. That's okay. When you get into something like meditation or whatever, and we want to go, 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 we can just burn ourselves out. And then we're like, oh, I got the same result. Because we think bigger, better, faster, go all in. That's the difference. Like, and it's a cultural thing too. No, meditation, the first time I did it, didn't seem like it worked. My mind was still racing. I was still like, what is this? That did absolutely freaking nothing. Now I feel like I know what the war is going on in my head. I actually feel more nuts. Like,
Yeah.
and now I'm aware of how bad it
Yep.
actually is. And then I just had to keep doing it. And that was part of my self-compassion course, was exploring a lot of these things that you're talking about as well, that just help you to acknowledge that your biology, your brain are not meant to run at 100 through things all the time. That's burnout culture. That's the way to not get there. And so I think we can all see the big picture. Like, I think often we can see the big picture of where we want to be, or now with social media and everything, we compare, unfortunately, which is the thief of all joy. You really got to just be in the race for yourself. But if you see someone else and go, I want to look like that, or I want that house, or I want that boat, or I want this. Okay, that's great. And then you're like, I'm going to manifest this. I'm going to meditate on it. I'm going to like da da da. But the truth is, you've got to break it down. What are those little steps along the way that are going to get you there? So I think we all grossly underestimate daily habits.
Absolutely.
The little everyday things that we do add up. It's like my kids and I have this big, like ginormous piggy bank that someone gave us. That's the shape of a Coke bottle. That's like
I know the
my toddler right now. And like, we just would put change in there. I didn't even really think about it. We kept putting change in there. We got pennies. We got whatever. When we filled that up, it was almost $500. Like every penny, every little cent that went in there, when it was eventually full, was close to $500.
Wow.
If we hadn't done kept the little change and kept, okay. But it had to start with that penny. It had to start with that time. It had to start with the habit of throwing the coins in. And so you got to pace yourself. You're not going to succeed if you don't pace yourself. And also accept failure. Like, you're not going to be great at it the first time. That it's unnatural for someone to like be good at it the first time. That rarely happens.
Yeah.
Judging by social media, I tell you what, they probably refilmed it more than once to make it. They did it the first time. It's not real. It's not reality. And so that's the thing I think we have to step away from too, is be realistic and kind to yourself. And you're human. Of course, it's going to take time.
Yep. And that's what I tell my clients. I said, when they go through my program and we're talking about meditation and setting boundaries, those are weekly things that we talk about. And I tell them, I want you to just start with 1 minute of meditation. I want you to start with one sentence in your journal. I want you to start with picking a boundary that you want to work on. I don't want you to I don't want you to set up boundaries, with your mom because she shows up unannounced right away. First, set a boundary with, hey, can you guys make sure you put the dishes in the dishwasher? Something like that. You don't want to go big right out the gate, because then you're going to say, this doesn't work.
Right. And people need to adjust. If you are adjusting boundaries, if you are adjusting who you are, and you come full force and bold and like, you're wrong, it doesn't go well. But if you can prove yourself a little at a time of why this makes sense and build on it, then you have more effective results.
That way you don't get self-care burnout.
It's a thing.
It's a thing. It is a thing. Self-care burnout is a thing, because you go full force into everything all at once. And there's so many changes, and it affects everybody around you. So it's not only affecting you, but it's affecting your kids, it's affecting your partner, and that can just create chaos. So a little bit at a time, so that everybody can get used to it at the same time.
Oh, that makes so much sense. And then you have that foundation, and then they can come along with you and adjust with you.
Exactly. I mean, especially if you're doing it when your kids are little and they see you meditating, they see you journaling, and they see how much better you are. I mean, I remember when I used to take my kids to the gym, and, they wouldn't want to go to the kids area. I'm like, okay, but mommy needs this time so that when we get home, I can make you dinner. I can help you with your homework, and we can go outside and play. And they were like, oh, okay. And they go off into the play place. And we would do those things when we got home, because I was a better mother for it, because I took care of myself.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm actually dealing with that with my preteen right now, of like, you want this? Well, I need this so I can be that for you. Like there's not, it takes them some understanding, and we can be the best example that we want to be, but to really have that relationship, it takes that kind of gentle communication that you had of, I'm human too. I have needs. I'm allowed to meet my needs so that I can meet your needs. Or please tell me what your needs are so we can figure out how we can meet each other's needs.
Absolutely.
And I think you kind of touched on that too with triggers as well. Like your husband noticed a huge difference over time. Whereas before, a trigger may have been something that like you didn't recognize, he didn't know what was going on, and there was conflict there, and it wasn't even about either of you. It was something that needed to be resolved. And I think that happens in relationships, and people just get confused on why those things happen, and that there's anything that they can actually do about it. So there's definitely a deeper level of awareness as you overcome things and you communicate it properly and give others permission to explore that themselves.
Yeah. And honestly, if it hadn't been for the energy healing side of it, I don't know if I ever would have been able to completely overcome the mental illnesses like I did, because a lot of the energies that were associated with how I was feeling weren't even mine. It was energies that I had received from my parents that I was carrying. So it wasn't even mine. It was just stuff that I agreed to carry. Like, why did I do that? Because I did.
And yet now you can say you're a chain breaker.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
You're that like third or fourth generation that said, enough, I'm not carrying this. I don't want this anymore. And you changed it. So generational healing, I think, is really huge right now. And there's a lot more awareness of it, because people say, oh, it's my body. Oh, it's my life. When really whatever you do gets passed down 3 generations.
Yep. When I started healing, my relationship with my kids got better. My relationship with my husband got better. And I had not worked on them at that point. So it was all working on myself that helped to better those relationships. Even my relationship with my parents got better in the sense that there was a little bit more stillness in how often things would rupture. Which is a huge win for me, because I didn't have to deal with all of that stuff all the time. I only had to respond to it every so often, instead of having to figure out how I was going to react to it more often. So just doing that inner work on me began to heal my family.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I love that. And that's the power of mother in a lot of ways. But
Yeah.
also the power of one. If you're that one person in your family or in a community, don't doubt that one person can make a difference. There's a huge amount of healing that you've done. And not only that, it was so effective for you, you're now doing it for other people. And that just creates this ripple effect and creates a new vibration in the world. And we are all connected. And the more healing we can do for each other, the better this world's going to be.
Absolutely.
So I forgot to ask you, what is your definition of resilience?
My definition of resilience is just being able to bounce up, not bounce back, but bounce up from whatever it is that has kind of stopped you in your tracks. Bouncing up from financial, just things coming down, saying, okay, so have to pay to have the car repaired. I have to take it from this, but you know what? That's okay, because I know there's more money coming in. Or understanding that, yes, I got rear-ended. This is an awful moment. I'm angry. I'm upset. I'm scared. But you know what? I'm okay. Just understanding that wherever there is something bad, there is always something good.
Yes. Opposition in all things. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I always look for the good.
Yeah.
It is a choice. I choose not to watch the news. I choose not to, constantly scroll through social media, because I don't want that stuff in my bubble. It's not that I'm ignorant to it. I'm just choosing to keep it outside of my bubble, because it does not serve me any purpose.
Well, and I think what people don't realize is we have mirror neurons in our brain. We will mirror the people that we're around. We will mirror the things we expose ourselves to. And we have to be very careful about who and what we let in on a daily basis, because it will change you on a cellular level, whether you realize it or not. So that choice that you're making every day of putting something positive in or putting something negative in, it has an effect, whether you like it or not. You're not going to be able to pick what the consequences of that are, but there is going to be a consequence. So why not choose the thing that more likely has the positive consequence? Let's just go with that.
I agree.
And so, with your clients and your business, what, besides the stuff you've overcome, what is a powerful story of an overcomer that you've seen that inspires you?
So I had a client who, when we started, she was in a very toxic job. There was a lot of things going on. She was going to court about all of this stuff, but she wasn't able to leave the position. So she kind of had to stay there during this whole process. And about probably 8 weeks into her healing, she was able to give her notice, leave her job, and start her own business.
Those are some results.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, to this day, as far as I know, she's still doing really well. I've had clients that have come off of their medication because they didn't want to be on medication anymore. I had a client who started learning how to do this for herself because she had other areas that she wanted to heal, and she found the value in learning it herself. I've got a couple other clients that have thought about starting their own businesses and have plans to start their own businesses. So just seeing them when they hit that point during their healing, that they're like, why did I wait so long to be able to feel this way?
Yeah.
And the answer is usually because energy healing is still so new.
Yeah.
It's still so woo-woo or out there that people have a hard time grasping the fact that you can heal virtually, that you can heal over Zoom or over the phone,
or that you don't even have control of the energy. You're like, I just woke up this way. You can change that.
Yeah.
Or I'm just this way. You can change that.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. You wake up on the wrong side of the bed. I was talking to a client this morning. She goes, I got back in bed and I said, okay, I'm going to give myself 15 more minutes to wake up on the right side of the bed. So she laid down, went back to sleep, woke up 15 minutes later and said, I'm going to get out of this bed on the right side. And the rest of her day was great because she shifted her mindset during that period. She's like, I'm just going to start over. That's it. I'm just going to start over.
Yeah, I love that because we can start out every minute of every day and just be like, fresh slate. Nope, never mind. That's not what I wanted.
Right, you can do Ace Ventura Rewind.
I like that. Rewind, restart. Let's do it again. Okay, wait, pause. Oh, that's wonderful. What is like your favorite? Because we've talked about meditation, but like, do you have other favorite practices or a group of practices that you like either to combine together or you find are the most powerful?
Play. Go outside and play. Make mud pies, try to do cartwheels or imagine yourself doing there's no way I could do a cartwheel today. Or just grounding, laying in the grass. I like being out in nature. I love going to the beach. I just think that Mother Nature has so much more to offer us than we take advantage of. And she wants us to take advantage of her. She wants us to take her energy and spread it throughout ourselves.
Yeah. We were meant to run on the grass in bare feet. We were meant to go hug the trees. We were designed to be outside.
Yeah, but just go and play like a kid. I mean, you get to a certain age when you're a kid, like 12 or 13 years old, and you start being told it's time to grow up. It's time to become an adult. Well, but then we lose that sense of imagination. We lose that sense of fun. And that's when we start gravitating towards other things that allow us to have fun without any inhibition.
Yes.
Right. So when we gravitate towards alcohol or other things to help relax us so that we can have fun. But if we just continued having fun, we wouldn't need all of that stuff.
Well, what's interesting about what you're talking about is this transition of when a young person is deciding who they are.
Hmm.
So unfortunately, they're looking at the outside, from what I'm hearing
Yeah.
from you, for who they are, instead of keeping their intuition of this is fun for me, this can be fun for me, this play can be fun for me, instead of, oh, that's not an adult thing. We don't do that.
Right, right. Because they don't know to look inside. They don't
Mm.
know because no one ever asks them, what is it that feels good to you? What is it that you want to do?
Yeah.
You know, do
And so
you
I
want to
just
get a
trust
job?
that. Build that in them. Build that
Yep.
is that what you want more of? Did that light you up?
Yeah.
What worked for you? Not what are you being told? What did they say? What do you see over there?
Yep.
Keep the unique individual that you are. I think if we can make this movement, especially in those transitions as children are coming into adulthood, let's give them a new model of what an
Yeah.
overcomer, resilient adult looks like. It does not mean burnout culture. It does not mean
Right.
comparison. It is not the keeping up with the Joneses. No, it's this whole person who's in alignment with their calling and their life. And that's
Yep.
where the real peace and joy comes from. Because when you're in your authentic self and others are their authentic selves, that's an energy that nobody can manipulate, and that's an
Hmm.
energy that nobody can duplicate or alter because
Yeah.
it's your own, it's yours. And that's the kind of healing I want to see more of for youth, especially.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think we're heading that way. But I think it's going to take a lot longer than we hope. But
Yeah.
I think we're heading in that direction.
Yes. Well, and we've got people like you in place that are out there doing the work, and we got other coaches. We've got
Yep.
lots of more awareness. And now people just need to know that those options are there. Go find what works for you. It's taken
Absolutely.
me years to find what works for me. And to be honest, the work's never done. I still have to do the work. There are daily things I still have to do.
Oh yeah.
There are some triggers that still pop up that still need resolved. Like, don't get discouraged. You may have results like us over time or right away. You have breakthroughs, but like we're evolving, we're human. It's a
Yep.
process, and it's a process that's never done, and that's perfectly fine. And
Right.
every journey is totally different. Maybe it didn't take you until you hit rock bottom to realize what you needed to do, but for some of us, we had to hit rock bottom first.
Yep.
And so that's okay,
Yep.
but
Yep.
the empathy and compassion that come from hitting rock bottom, or the knowledge that you gain from being a little more ahead of avoiding those things, they're all the things that we can share to help each other be resilient overcomers.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Is there anything last thing you'd like to share about resilience and being an overcomer?
Spend time on yourself. We
Mm,
are worth spending time on ourselves. It's not selfish to implement deliberate self-care, but everybody needs to do it.
uh,
It's a requirement. It's a
yeah.
prescription. Take it.
Be intentional with your life.
Exactly. Exactly.
Where can people reach you if they want to work with you and do your program?
So you can find me at designyourexistence.com. Socials are all Design Your Existence. And then I have a Facebook group, Holistically Healing Anxiety for Women, on Facebook as well. But you find me online and you can find everything else the same way.
Awesome. Well, if you want to see her for healing, there you go. That's where you can find her. If you're looking for high performance coaching, you got me over here with the High Performance Habits. I'm now a certified high performance coach, and I'm excited to help people level up in their life and get those daily habits that are scientifically proven to get them to the next level in life and in themselves and be in alignment with what they're doing. So please reach out to me if you'd be interested in that. I am limiting a few free strategy sessions to give people a taste and get you into the idea of what that coaching looks like. Thank you for being here today, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care.
Bye.